Hello and welcome back to Chatting with Chaz. I am so excited about this episode. I know you have waited for this episode. It's all things skincare with the founder and creator of Skin Pharm, Maegan Griffen. So excited about this.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited
Thank you
too.
for making time. We're in Nashville. We're in Nashville at your amazing clinic. One of, how many do you have in Nashville?
So we're at the Franklin Clinic right now, and it's one of 12 clinics, which
just
is
in this
crazy
area.
To say. In like the Southeast area.
Southeast. Okay.
Yes, we're in 5 states right now. So
fantastic. Yeah. And I know so many of you that have followed me at Linen and Flaxco and on Chatting with Chaz. The number one question I have on the daily is my skincare routine and what am I doing with my skin? And I have to tell you, this is why we need to do a deep dive. This is why we came to Nashville to sit with you, because Skin Pharm and what you've created has changed my skin.
I love
and
that.
I'm going to say my life, because I feel confident in my skin. So let's talk about you and your journey, Maegan.
I want to talk about your skin.
Well,
sure,
we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about your skin and your skincare routine as the founder, the products you love, treatments you do. We're going to talk about everything, but let's start with how this all began and your journey into creating one of these amazing products like Skin Pharm.
Let's do it.
Tell me.
Okay, so I'm a nurse practitioner and the founder and CEO of Skin Pharm. And Skin Pharm started in 2017 here in Nashville. So not this clinic, but up the street, about 30 minutes away. So I say up the street, but in Nashville. And then we started our skincare line, which you're familiar with.
Yes.
So our skincare line came after our clinics.
So you started the clinic first?
Yes.
I did not realize that.
Yes, yeah. I feel like it's an important part of the story and kind of speaks to our whole ethos of like really, so our patients and our connection in the room informs everything we do. It informs our skincare line. It informs the treatments that we're doing, that I'm getting done, that my mom's getting done, that you're getting done. And I really think that that's how we've ended up with this unique reputation of it works. Like people will truly be like, so why exactly does it work? And I'm like, well, why wouldn't it work? Let's talk about that.
Yes.
But so clinics came first, a little bit of background on me. So I was in plastic surgery and dermatology before. I probably shouldn't say this, but personally I would say the boring sides, but it was the medical side. Right. So I was going to the OR. It was very important work, honestly, so I probably should not have said that. But so we were doing like reconstructive surgery, and I was learning how to close patients. I would help the surgeon. And we would go back to the clinic, and I was doing pre-op, post-op. A dermatologist also came on at that time. So then we were doing head-to-toe skin exams and treating skin cancers. We made the decision that I would then go and spearhead like the aesthetic portion of it. So injectables, lasers, skincare. Truly was curious and dabbling. And then when I had this mixed patient load, every time I would get ready for the day and look at my schedule, I was the most excited about the aesthetic patients. Yeah. And I kept finding myself drawn, or even coming back from the OR, I would like rush to get back to do the injectables. So I was like, I think I need to listen to my heart and what I'm actually passionate about. Made it a full-time job when I was there at that practice. And then from there, I started meeting amazing people in Nashville, women who thankfully trusted me with their face and their appearance and their skin health, and got to talking with them. And it was really clear that we were all seeking this, like, yes, we want results. Yes, we want that science, but like, can we do it in style? Can we make it like a little less sterile? And can we make it approachable? And can we make it fun? And I think the biggest thing for me is that I absolutely respect the medical side of it, and I loved educating, but I was having a hard time with the people that were prioritizing like just the injectables. But I was like, can we also apply SPF? Like we really need to do that. And I honestly, like, let's stop doing the injectables. Let's first start with SPF and then we'll go from there. So it was pretty clear that not only myself, but my patients, we like had this really clear vision in mind of what we wanted it to look like. And I think we're seeing a lot of that now in this space. It's really evolved, and it's become more refined, and it's exciting. But back then when I was starting, you really didn't see a lot of it. Your options were like, you can go to a derm and it's going to be a pretty quick visit, but you are going to get some good medical advice, but not much time with your actual provider.
Right.
And they're probably going to give you a fair amount of prescriptions because that's what we're used to doing in dermatology. So we're going to throw some clindamycin at you. And we've even talked about this with your experience and your family, and that yes, acne is a medical diagnosis, but you can also treat it with like aesthetic products that you love and you actually want to like put out on your vanity, and somehow naturally you end up using it more.
Yes.
So you get a result. I'm kind of all over the place with it as far as
that
the
is
story, but that's
true.
really how it all came together.
How your vision became, I mean, we're in this beautiful clinic, and I think that is something that makes you different. Not only your amazing products, but you don't feel like you're going to a doctor's office.
Right.
And when I would go to the dermatologist, or my daughter, she had acne, they would just prescribe her, it was a quick 10-minute visit and here's a prescription. It did not work. And it wasn't until we went to your clinic in Alpharetta that her skin was completely transformed. And it was your serums, it was your product, she also abused her skin in the sun. So now she uses her
working on sun damage.
Tinted SPF.
Yes.
That's basically her foundation now.
Exactly.
Her skin has totally cleared up. She was using, bad skincare. I mean, she was getting no results. And then you don't want to
use it, so you don't get a result. Yeah,
you don't get a result.
Exactly.
And I will say your aesthetic is really beautiful. As you mentioned, it's sitting on your vanity. You leave it out because it's pretty, where a lot of skincare isn't. And then I want to use it more. And I'm religious. Every morning, every night, and sometimes like midday, I put my extra face beam. Is it?
Yeah, your high beam.
My
high
beam
it gives you a glow.
It's the best.
Yeah.
One of my favorite products.
I do the same thing. That's what I throw on before a workout when I'm like, how do I look?
Yes, a little glow.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, I love that product.
So
and I have been religious with skincare since I was young. I did abuse my skin with sun damage.
Yeah. Did you do a tanning bed?
I did do a tanning bed when I was like in my teens.
Yeah.
And then in my 20s, after I'd go to the dermatologist, they would take all the moles off and all the damage. I stopped doing that. And then I would just do like a spray tan or something. But I do love to be out in the sun. I'm a big walker. I'm always outside. I love the beach, not gonna lie. Yeah, so now I'm smarter about it. I do use SPF, but there was a lot of damage done. And I think a lot of people that followed me have seen maybe that I will get a lot. You're reversing, but I think it's just the treatments I've done with you. And it's been so different than just going to a dermatologist and saying, wear your SPF. And they're really not giving you anything. They might at the end of your treatment sell skincare, and I used that skincare and there were no results. So,
and that's not to say I have dermatology colleagues who are amazing and brilliant. It's just the structure of how that practice is set up. Like it's not meant to, it's almost the opposite of what we do and what we prioritize, which is we really do focus on connecting first and even being like, what is your goal? What do you want this to look like? How do you want to feel? And it's like, we're also going to get to know each other. Like we're going to see you several times a year. We're going to see you for several years. We're probably going to start seeing your family members.
Yes.
And I think that's what's really special, and how people become really connected to our brand and the provider that you end up seeing at Skin Pharm. On sun damage.
Love, and I want to talk about sun damage. I do love how you do connect with your provider. And the first time I met Courtney in Alpharetta, it was very much like a consultation versus an appointment at a dermatologist. It is what sets you apart. And then she really talked about your skin, talked about your past and your sun damage, and then kind of put together a goal. So I never asked for a treatment. She just does the treatment. She says, this is what you need. This is what we see. Oh, we have a new treatment, which we'll talk about later, that she just did. That was amazing. But she gets you excited, but she just knows what your skin kind of needs. So I love the connection with the provider and staying with that provider and not just hopping around with different providers. I think that's really sets you apart, just the way you've put together your clinics.
And when you say that she just did a treatment, it's because you trusted her, right?
Yes, I don't really understand what's cutting edge in skincare. I'll hear things, but when I come in and she's like, we have this new treatment, I'm gonna basically get your blood, I'm gonna add some gold, and you'll be able to talk.
You did the PRP,
and we're gonna beef up under your eyes, it's gonna brighten you. I'm just like, I trust you. I trust Skin Pharm and I trust her.
Yeah.
And I've been working with her for over a year, and everything she's done has been awesome. So I think the connection with the people that I've encouraged to go to Skin Pharm, they've made that same connection with their provider, and no matter what state they're in, and they're trusting your providers. I think also because they're nurse practitioners.
Yes, and so I wanted to speak to that. So we were talking about prescriptions, and we have NPs and PAs as our providers, and that's just they have extended education, and they do have the ability to prescribe. So we don't only fight wrinkles, we are passionate about fighting wrinkles.
Yes.
However, we see acne, melasma, rosacea, and sometimes those things do require prescriptions. So we will do that, but we blend it with treatments that work and skincare that works.
Right.
And then if you need that prescription, we do that as well. So I think that it's all about balance and not relying on just one thing and not going straight to Accutane when you have severe acne. So
that was truly what my daughter thought her next step would have to be. It was like hormonal acne.
Yep.
And our provider, Courtney and Alfreda, was like, no, we're not going to do that. She did prescribe. I think it was the same thing the dermatologist said. She would stay on that.
Yeah.
But I think she gave her something else. And then she says, I'm going to write out your skincare routine.
Yeah.
Here's the products. And in a month, and she was really upset. She was kind of panicking over Christmas break. She was like, I can't, what is wrong with my face?
There's a huge psychological impact with acne. So we're super passionate about treating it and getting ahead of it. Also before the scarring kicks in.
Yes.
We have the treatments that can help potentially, hopefully reverse and clear scarring.
Yes.
But that does take time and money. So if you can avoid that, we would like to. So I love hearing that. I think that's exactly how we want to be doing things. So
and I do think it's a total testimony. And I also think skincare, I think women of our age, my age, I'm 51, 30s, we're really starting to think about it. It's an investment, and they don't necessarily think it's for their daughter, but if you can get your daughter it's for all ages. And I think that's what I love about this brand. It's your teen, it's your college age daughter, because they're dealing with skin issues as well. Yeah. And it's kind of great that we both love it. And she's like, oh, can I use your youth serum? I'm out of my youth syrup. And she's running into my bathroom. So anyway, major change in both of us.
The men will trickle in too, but we see a lot of
Douglas
women,
is getting on it because he used a different
still
skincare.
The clarifying pad, that's usually the gateway, and then all of a sudden they're making an appointment.
I love the pads.
And I do love the pads too.
Yes. Yeah. Douglas hasn't gotten into that yet, but he was using what I used to use, and it really dried his skin out. And I'm like, listen,
I've got something.
The high beam is going to be good, and he loves high beams. So he's using my skincare. It's a family thing.
Yes. Everyone wants good skin.
So I interrupted you. You were talking about sun damage.
Oh yeah, I think
that's a big thing for women, and then we're going to talk about we're going to talk about everything, but we'll talk about different ages, what skin needs as well. Yeah. But as far as sun damage, can we correct it?
So yes, you can. The nice thing, if we're talking about skin cancer, skin cancer is actually very preventable, and you can treat it. And then as far as sun damage, yes, it's reversible. And I think we underestimate how much sun damage can actually make us look, call it aged, although I don't feel like my whole purpose at Skin Pharm is to anti-age. I actually don't like the term at all. I think it's to support aging. But I do think that we sometimes underestimate how much that discoloration or the ruddiness can make you just look kind of like blah or not good or kind of dull. And so I do really think that that's a great thing that we do at Skin Pharm, where we brighten and even the skin tone. Yeah, and you're like, wow, I just look so. And there are some women that are like, I'm fine with the wrinkles, or they won't fight them as hard. We'll lower their dose of Botox, or we won't treat around their eyes because they're like, I want some wrinkles, whether it's that their significant other loves them, or so we'll honor that. But typically with sun damage, they're like, but let's get rid of this. Yes. And when they do, it's like, wow, I look more vibrant.
Yes. So, and more youthful. I do feel like that's been a big difference. I was never a Botox girl, so all of this is brand new to me. Yeah. And I was that girl that was like, no, I'm going to age with grays. No, I don't need that. And then I went through a wellness journey. I lost a lot of weight, and my skin just felt like it was hanging. I can't explain it. It felt lifeless. And then the sun damage as well. And I think sometimes I would go in the sun to get a glow instead of getting my glow from product. And it just was not good and it was not helping me. So Botox was new and I was a naysayer. Filler terrified me. I was a naysayer and now I'm like, wow, that really did something.
It really does.
It really does. So I think you can kind of have a mentality like that's not for me, but if you're open to it and everybody's individual, it has made a difference. And I love how conservative everyone is in your brand. I'm looking at you. I don't know if you have filler or Botox. You just look good. Yes, and it's conservative. And I do see like filler face. I've seen that. I don't see that in your offices with your practitioners, with you. I don't see it in myself. And I think that's huge. So now I do say, get the Botox or get the filler. And I feel in Skin Pharm, I feel safe.
Yeah, I love that. That's so important.
Yes.
I think there's a couple reasons why you might have felt that way. And one is probably seeing poor work or bad work that probably scared you away, right?
100%.
And then I do also think that there's probably some women, I'd imagine that you're like, I love myself and I'm secure, so I don't really need to. Like, I think we kind of battle this, like, does that mean then that I'm like insecure and that I'm being vain? But I'm like, I think it's just like giving yourself support and energy, and you're like, once I do feel good in my skin, and it's little tweaks, like you said, like whether it's a little bit of Sculptra, and that's to help with the hollowing, and then it's not to be dramatic, but it really does just improve your life. And there are moments where I'll be honest, even in my career, I'm like, am I just like fighting wrinkles? And I'm like, no, we're actually like really improving people's lives, because there is something about when you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, I just like feel better. And it's not, you're like, I feel like me, right? You're like, I just feel my appropriate age. Because it does suck to wake up and you're like, well, I look 10 years older than I am. Like, that's not what you want.
No,
some of that is like, you just had a baby and you're tired and you have a
not
career.
Sleeping a lot.
Yeah, so I just consider it like support. And you're like, okay, now I feel like me and I'm ready to go deal with all the things that life throws at you. Yeah.
I feel like it's part of my wellness journey. Skincare now has become, my big thing is, movement, eating what I'm eating, but also like what you're eating is showing on your face. So I put skincare right there, and I'm like, it all works together. And so adding this to my wellness has really been a game changer. And I also, as I'm older, 51, I don't feel 51. I don't know if I want to look 51, but I don't know what that looks like
either. But
so
again, nothing wrong with looking at it.
There's nothing wrong with feeling fresh and not having to wear as much makeup. Like generally, I'm on the camera a lot. I will wear makeup, but most of the time, I just don't want to wear it. And I feel like everything I've done with Skin Pharm, I've been able to wear kind of less makeup or no makeup at all. Just your tinted SPF, which is really nice.
Yeah,
so,
I love that.
Yeah,
the tinted SPF too is so nice because it gently camouflages blemishes. So you want to put it on.
Yes.
And then you're doing something good by blocking the sun, and all of a sudden your skin is more even toned. So like it just works really well.
Really what I love about it. Yes. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go out for a walk. I'm gonna put this on. It feels like foundation, but I just know I also am very big on what I put on my face. I want it to be form and function, kind of that designer in me. So I'm like, okay, it makes me look better, but I'm also protected.
Yeah,
so
you're doing something great for your skin every day.
And then after I'll walk, and if I have to run into work, then I just put a little bit of bronzer on, a little lip, and we're good.
Yep.
Good skin is just so much easier to work with.
It really is.
Yes.
Yeah. It makes you feel
better. I have so many questions for you because I ask all the people the questions. But one thing I personally want to ask you is, what is your skincare routine? They ask that as well.
Okay. So I use every product in our line. I'm not using every product at the same time. So we have a couple different cleansers. I like to keep them at my sink and at my bath and in my shower.
Yes.
But it really just depends on the day. I tend to use the power wash in the evening to help get rid of makeup and right now pollen, honestly, my gosh. But just like kind of grime from the day. And then I really like the gentle one in the morning.
Okay.
But sometimes I can even flip them. It kind of depends on my mood. Vitamin C every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Morning and night?
No, once a day is all that you need.
Okay, that's good.
Once you replenish your vitamin C stores, they're replenished. That's all you can do. So if you're using the product more than you need, and vitamin C, quality vitamin C, can tend to be pricey or more of an investment.
Yes.
So then you're just wasting product and money. So I'm a big advocate for once a day.
Okay.
And then Youth Serum is one of our
love it.
Yes, bestsellers.
That is gold. I don't know, the high beam, the youth serum. I love it all. The night watch.
We do it in the pads. It's all
The
good.
pads.
I guess my point is, it would take me honestly probably 45 minutes to run. My point is that I use all of it, but it's not an overwhelming line. We don't have too many products.
I do agree.
They all serve a purpose. And I really like to listen to my skin. As far as the actives, so like our Night Watch Retinol or HPR, and our pads, those are the ones that I cycle a little bit more. But I think like a real life example that I could give you guys, I'll speak very transparently. So last night, it's been a week. So last night I did the clarifying pad and then I put on Face Whip and I went to bed. And it was just like, it felt like a treatment and my skin felt good and looked good when I woke up.
Yes.
And honestly, this morning, another chaotic morning. So this morning, my routine, like it was high beam and mineral SPF.
I love it.
So it was minimal,
Your
guys.
skin looks amazing.
But I did
minimal.
So typically, I like to do a treatment in the morning and a treatment at night, though.
Okay.
So maybe.
So do you ever wake up like if you've done the night? By the way, I love the new formula. The night.
Which one?
The night cream, the thicker.
The Face Whip.
Face Whip.
Yes.
Love it.
It's so good.
I use that
so
every
good.
night. I just love it. So sometimes I don't wash my face in the morning and I just put high beam on. Because I'm like, well, I've got my Night Watch or the Face Whip and it feels so dewy and good.
Yeah.
If I'm just going to the gym.
I think that's
Is that fine? You don't
like,
have
life
to wash.
Happens. Like I think that you, like a vitamin C, SPF, a retinol, those are your very studied ingredients that are going to work. So I would definitely recommend having them in your routine. Also, just like pick the products that your skin responds well to and that you're seeing results with. And again, if you actually are putting it on, you're going to see results. So
right.
I like to think of a routine as, I think somehow we got to this place of like, oh, I have to do my routine or I have to wash my hair. And I'm like, it's not a chore. Like I do look at it as like me time and time that I get to like,
I agree.
Respect myself and
decompress.
Yeah. Like, so I really do enjoy the routine of it. It was just a quick routine last night and this morning.
Yes.
But, yeah.
That's a good thing because most of us are like you. You have 3 children, married, building this brand. I think you're talking about Chicago. I just saw on your Instagram, opening in Chicago.
We're opening in Chicago.
I mean, you're really crushing life right now, but I know when you're crushing life, it kind of crushes you at the same time.
It can crush, yes.
Oh,
it's
thank
very
you
full.
so much.
Amazing, thank you.
We have coffee. What's your coffee? What is your order?
So this isn't, I'm a big latte drinker, but all of a sudden I started drinking flat whites. I don't know what it's about, but this is my 3rd one that I've ordered.
Okay, a flat white. I might have to try
and
it.
I did decaf because I had a little bit of caffeine this morning. I have to switch over.
Okay, good.
What is yours?
I'm a brown sugar shaken espresso. My daughter got me into this, and it's
They're
just
good.
what I get. Yes, it's good. So cheers to us
Cheers.
and Skin Pharm
Thank you
and
for the
good
drinks,
skin. Okay, so yeah, you're busy. You are very busy. You're young. You have young kids.
Little kids.
How do you balance it all?
Well, balance.
Is balance real? Actually,
No, I talk a lot about balance, but I should be clear that it's balance. It's like give and take, push and pull, tension. It's just accepting that if you are going to, in my case, explore both motherhood and a career, like there is going to be give and take. So when I'm showing up at work and I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm in a good routine at work, like they're probably suffering at home a little bit, to be honest.
Right,
like
yes.
they're fine, but
Right.
And I know we've heard this narrative before, but I really believe in it, and I think it's important to keep discussing because it's so true. And with like social media, it can look like, oh, they just got it together, and I'm like, well, yeah. When I took a picture of my house, like I got rid of all the stuff in the background before I put it up because I
made
didn't want
my
to look
bed.
like a slob,
By the way,
but
love your bed. It looks really good this morning.
Yes, I'm not going to put a picture up of my when I was taking a phone call the other day.
Correct.
And my son was crying because he fell off the bike, and then my daughter was crying because of something at school.
Right.
I'm like, I didn't whip my phone out for that. But
Right.
The point is, where was I going with it? How do I do it?
Yes.
I think that being surrounded by really good people is absolutely key. So I would say, whether you're doing something similar or just in life, like surround yourself with good people who are understanding and you need to show yourself grace, and hopefully the people around you do too. I'm building this with my husband.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Are you doing it together? Because I could see that being hard if you're on this track.
I will be honest, for the most part, it's absolutely easier. I think that's like why we're doing it. I don't think we would be doing it. He wouldn't be doing it without me. Sorry. and I wouldn't be doing it without him, though.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So, and so I think like we're building something beautiful together. Yes, it's challenging, and I can speak to that because I would not want to act like it's completely easy. I think the biggest challenge is probably like, what is the cutoff? And like, this is our relationship at work, and then this is our relationship at home.
Right.
And how do you respect those different identities? Because it's not really fair to like have the same expectations in both spaces.
Yes.
But it's very helpful to be building it together. And then we have family, and we have a nanny, and we're
good support.
Yeah, we have good support.
It's huge.
Like we wouldn't be doing it without the support. So, and a solid team that we trust.
Yes.
Like there are times where I'm hands off, and like the team is doing it. Like I think that we have this like living, breathing culture that is very understood, and it's very nice to like show up and be like, oh, they get it. Wow.
Yes.
So yeah, we're in a good spot. That's not to say that it's not challenging, but we're doing it.
You're doing it, and you're doing it together as a family, which is incredible. Building a legacy, really. I mean, for your kids, I think will happen, and because I mean, you're growing so fast. You started in 2017.
Yes.
And you already have 12 clinics?
Yes. We opened
Very
Plano last 2 weeks ago. And that was our 12th clinic. But it was never the intention. I mean, I opened Nashville, and I was very happy to have Nashville, and thought that would kind of be the story, to be honest. But there was demand not only from patients. We had like a party that Brad and I speak to pretty frequently that we reflect on, and we're like, that was the moment when we were like, whoa, okay, this is something special. But it was also the team. I had people coming to me that were like, I want to build this with you. So it's kind of like,
amazing.
And I understand that doesn't come easily all the time. So it's definitely a blessing. And I think it was helpful that Brad was like, I think Brad being my husband, I think you should do something with this.
Yes.
So,
and that he encouraged it. Was he in the skincare space, or did he come in as a business?
He was at a startup company.
Okay.
Though.
Excellent.
And then his trade is he's a CPA. So our myself being
super
a nurse practitioner and him being a CPA, we definitely complement one another. And we do have different brains. I mean, we're different people, but even like how we think of things typically are different. We obviously now like complement one another, and we've taught each other a lot. So it's probably way more blended than it was at first. But even then it was gradual. It does feel like, sometimes feels like overnight, all of a sudden we have 12 clinics, but it's definitely been organically chipping away at it. And it was a very intentional, okay, where do we open? Are we going to open one clinic out of state? And we did, and that was Atlanta, our Buckhead location. And
was that your first one out of state?
Yeah.
No kidding. What made you choose Atlanta?
So close proximity was nice, to be honest. We looked at online orders, and they were flourishing in Atlanta.
Yes.
I will be totally honest, at the time we were like, okay, do we open in Franklin, or do we open in Atlanta, or do we open in LA? And so we visited all of those areas. Nashville was very different. Even 5 years ago, it's grown so much. We ended up opening Franklin, but years later. And then we stayed on this side of the country, and there was just so much good synergy. Like even when I would go to Atlanta, I would like meet people that I know, whether it was like sisters, and so it made a lot of sense, and it's done really well. And then from there we went to Texas, and then North Carolina, and we're just kind of hanging out over here. And
I know the West Coast is totally wanting you. A lot of our followers.
I know. Yeah.
Are like, I need it. I need the clinic. We're now selling Skin Pharm in our stores.
I know.
Because I just love it. And everyone, that is my number one question. And the next is my lipstick. So I think it's because they see my face all the time.
Yeah.
And it's selling really well. Everyone loves it. But we're a national brand just because of our e-commerce, but all over the country, people are saying, we need a Skin Pharm, and that it's not working for them, what they're doing, going to the dermatologist or going to get the little facial. That's what I used to do. I'd be like, oh, I need to go get a facial. But like that facial that was just random once every like year just wasn't making a difference. And I think that's what most people are doing. And the expense of it. I mean, it's definitely a commitment.
Right.
And a luxury, but for a customer or a woman who is like, listen, I've never done this, but I do want to see some results. what can I do on a budget for my skin? Like how would you advise?
Yeah.
Should she start with product or start with treatments?
So if you are near one of our clinics or like visiting a city that we are in, I would absolutely encourage scheduling a consult, because I also think that when you walk into one of our clinics, you're kind of like, you exhale and you're like, okay, I see what we're doing here, right? And it's really nice for the practitioner to be like, let me just go ahead and prescribe this plan for you. And that can include skincare too.
Yes.
So I would say if you can make it into a clinic, that's going to be the most comprehensive experience that you can have. And if you're not, that's why we have the skincare line.
Yes.
And you can get amazing results with the skincare.
I do agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even if you are investing in treatments, I say absolutely do the skincare routine at home. I mean, you're doing that morning and night. You're spending a lot of time with it. It definitely protects your results. It protects your investment. And then as far as what product to start with, I feel like I always struggle with this because I'm like, it could be one of our best sellers. They're best sellers for a reason, right? That's the people saying, this is what I love. And those are our pads, our youth serum, our high beam brightening lotion.
Yes.
I think like the nurse practitioner in me is like, start with a quality SPF. So start with, I would say, our mineral SPF.
Which is beautiful.
It's
really
it has a great,
has a good feel.
It has a tint that matches almost all skin types too. And then I think from there, you'll be hooked and you'll understand why you want to build the rest of your routine.
Yes.
So it's a good starting point.
And you can it is a good starting point and you can kind of ease into it.
Yeah.
What's your favorite treatment that you provide as far as yourself? If you're going to go take a day, you're like, I'm going to go to my clinic and I'm going to get this treatment.
I truly am doing all of them, and I'm not just saying that because it's my responsibility.
I love all
to
of them
say,
too.
Like, I love the menu, but the way that I can support, I understand it's like kind of a cop-out to say that, but it's not a massive menu of services, right? Like, it's very approachable.
That's what I like about it, yes.
So it's only, like, it's highly curated. I will say the thing that I most recently got done is Dysport injections when I was in Atlanta last week. Yeah, I stopped by, I saw Alyssa at our Buckhead clinic. I tried getting injected in Alpharetta, but they were busy. So then I went down to our Buckhead clinic and Alyssa injected me. And listen, the thing about, I said Dysport, which is another brand of a neuromodulator, which is just a drug class of injectables that temporarily relaxes your muscles. It just, every time it kicks in, you're like, man, this is why I get it done.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is why I get it done.
Nice. It's honestly like why I'm in the industry. We, at 24 years old, I like stayed after one day and I injected myself, which thankfully I don't have to do anymore. But I injected myself and I remember because of the onset, it can take a few days to start kicking in. So I kind of forgot that I did it. I think at first I didn't. I kept looking in the mirror and obsessing.
Right.
And then I was like, whatever. And then days went by and it's always that moment when you look in the mirror and you're like, you kind of dig yourself a little more. And then you're like, oh, it's the Botox. And I've had friends do that. They're like, I don't know if I like lost a little bit of weight or what it was, but the Botox kicked in.
The Botox, I mean, your skin is flawless. And I know you're busy and I know the week you've had, I've been watching you and you travel a lot, but your skin, I'm sitting here in person, her skin is flawless. And it is, I think you would say probably the Dysport, your product, very minimal makeup as well. And this is why what I think sets you apart from a lot of other brands. And I mean, I know as a founder of our brand Linen and Flax, people look at my house because I'm an interior designer. Look at her face. This is what you're creating. And you see the results. Even the people that I see on your team, everybody has beautiful skin. And you're really making a difference in the space. I think you have really big things ahead. And I just think you're going to explode. I feel like you have exploded, but the more people that hear about Skin Pharm and the more people that start using it, I just think you have a very, very bright future.
I love to hear that. Thank you so much.
It's exciting to watch and it's exciting to be a part of. And we were just kind of talking, I won't mention it, but I was like, one product I would love to see. And she's like, it's in the
already
works.
in the works. Yeah.
So you're growing your product line. As far as when you started the clinic and then you saw, hey, there's something missing. What was your first product that you created? I don't even know.
It was a cleanser, actually.
The cleanser.
Yeah, it was we've done some revisions to it. It's now the Power Wash.
The Power Wash.
Yeah, but the whole idea with the skincare line, so I was carrying a handful of medical grade skincare lines and they were either incredibly overwhelming and so aggressive that I was like, I can't, these poor women, their
Right.
faces like raw from using it because they want results, but
Yes.
I felt bad. And then there were some that were just, they didn't offer everything that I wanted. So it was another example of where I didn't necessarily ever think that I would be the founder of a skincare line, but it happened just naturally out of need. And then now we have this holistic skincare line.
I mean, it's amazing. I mean, what do you see as your next thing for Skin Pharm as far as, you know, this is where have you arrived and we're just going to keep putting this out, or do you see something in the future that we're going to do different? I don't know if you can say.
No,
or
I can definitely.
how you
I
want
can
to evolve
speak to that. I think that we know what we're good at. We're pretty good at we are in our lane and we know what we're doing and we know why we're special. And I think it's so palpable that people are even like, I'm going to go there and I know what to expect. And then they come in and they're like, yes, you delivered.
Yes.
So we want to keep doing more of that because we are not yet serving everyone that we would like to be serving. And we need to do that through opening more clinics. But the whole intention is to serve more people and keep our culture and soul intact. And you have to do that very mindfully. We can't just grow at all costs. So
Right.
I would say
Smart.
open more clinics at a very appropriate pace. And we're just going to keep doing it the way that we do it, where we say, where do you want us to go? Where do you need us the most?
Yes.
It's really nice to hear from you, to be honest, because I think that sometimes I'm like, there's other people doing what we're doing. So I don't ever want to go, like, if these people are being served and they're fine, then we'll leave it alone. But I do think what we're doing is unique and special. So I think there's plenty of opportunity for us to keep growing. And then for our skincare line, we spoke some
Yes.
to, I can't be very specific with product launches that we have coming up, but it's the same thing. Like, we don't want to launch a product just to launch a product. There's plenty of products out there. So
Yes.
I would just say very intentional growth. And then I feel like you asked something about innovation, and it's very important to us that we remain modern. There is so much noise in this space, and there are so many things that are launched that don't work or actually end up being worse for you. There are things that we have vetted and trialed at the clinic level,
I love
like
that.
on ourselves, and then we say, this is not going to make it to the patient. And then we learn years later that we're really glad that it never made it to the patient.
I love that.
So it's definitely on our mind, but I guess, so to wrap it all up, I would just say keep, being a leader in the skincare space and being innovative, but definitely while being mindful.
Be mindful, and culture plays a huge part.
huge
If you could
part.
define your culture at Skin Pharm in a nutshell, define it for us.
Yes. I like to say warm and supportive, I think, and trustworthy for sure.
Yes.
And that's not just in how we treat our patients, but it's how we treat each other too. Like,
Yes.
we spend so much time together and we have to enjoy one another and we have to enjoy what we're building. But those are some of the keywords that I feel like I often hear when people say how their experience was.
We did an event at Skin Pharm in Alpharetta with you. We partnered together, and I would say you felt that people were coming in because they were either, and I think that's why we work well together, they were committed to Skin Pharm, or they trusted me at Linen and Flax, and they're like, we want to check this out. But everybody was so warm. You had like a coffee. I think it was Valor was there.
Yeah.
And your team there, they were so welcoming to people that were coming from Linen and Flax. And it felt like an afternoon with girlfriends talking about skincare. Because remember, that's kind of what we did. If you had a sleepover or you
Yes.
hung out with your girlfriends, you're like, so what are you guys doing?
Yes.
And you talk about skincare because we all want to feel our best and look our best. And it felt like that. And I felt that culture, that support. And I remember introducing one of my clients to Courtney, and she was so welcoming to her. And then my client called me like a week later, and she's like, I just want you to know I'm all in with Skin Pharm. It was the connection she made with Courtney, the connection in Alpharetta. All the PAs, they weren't like, she's mine. Like, everybody was very holistically supportive of Skin Pharm. I don't know if I'm saying that.
Yeah.
But you felt the warmth and support. And I do think that that's what sets you apart. I truly do. It's from a dermatologist to just running into a spa. Like, when I go to a spa, we went last week, like, I don't feel like it's the best facial. I want a very intentional facial.
Yeah.
That's going to bring me results.
yeah.
And I feel that
Different
here.
purposes,
Yes.
right? This is your clinical.
Yes. Give me the clinical, give me the medical grade. Is your skincare medical grade? I think
It's not, so it's a hot topic. Medical grade
Okay.
is a term that I feel like some people are not loving right now because it's not regulated. I don't mind it because sorry, not very experienced. I don't mind it because I think it speaks to the fact that it's effective. So I think medical grade is kind of interchangeable with clinical strength or effective. So in that way, it absolutely is. We make sure that we have actual effective concentrations or percentages of the active ingredients so that you get your result, which you've seen.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how I would answer.
Okay, good to know. I know this is going long, but I have a couple other critical questions. Filler.
Yes.
How do you put people at ease with filler? I know for me, it was kind of scary.
Yeah.
And then I talked to Courtney and she put me at ease and she's like, I'm going to do it very conservative. And then I'm a believer now.
Yeah.
So talk to the woman who's like, I just don't know about filler.
I think it would depend on what the concern is. And I'm imagining, so I think a lot of the concern is the procedure itself and is it going to hurt? Is it going to be uncomfortable? And people sometimes we forget, so it's always a good reminder to get back in the chair, but people don't love needles. So there's a lot of things that we do to make people comfortable.
I squeeze the ball.
Yeah, we have the stress ball, we have the numbing cream.
The little thing under the chin.
And then the distractor.
Yes.
And then providers who are caring that are going to talk you through it. And then I'd imagine the other concern is the result. Am I going to be overfilled? Am I all of a sudden not going to look like myself? I think we use the word transformation in this industry, which is what we're often doing, but we could probably even veer away from that because some people don't necessarily want to be transformed. They just want to be complimented.
Look rested.
You're like, I don't need like a new appearance in 30 minutes when I walk out.
Right.
So we tend to, and it is a balance or a fine line because you don't want to undertreat. People are like, well, I want a result. That's why I'm here. But we don't want to overtreat.
Right.
And that's not what we do.
Right, not at all.
And you could even, a lot of what we do is we're like, let's just start here today. Let's inject a little bit. Go home and get used to it. See if you like it. You're probably going to come back and tell us that you want a little bit more.
That's exactly what happened with Courtney.
Yeah.
She's like, let me just, because I was apprehensive, and she's like, let me just start here. Mm-hmm. And then I liked it. She did my lips.
Yeah.
And she's like, it'll just make it feel, what was the word she used? Like, filled, but hydrated.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was like, how does that make it look hydrated? She goes, it just does. And it did.
Yes.
And then I was like, yeah, I kind of want more. I was like, so then I did it. And then she's like, can we just do right here for those fine lines and where I kind of had the hollowing happen? And it made me look, I felt more rested, like I slept well or something. Because I'm like you, I'm running in a million directions. And I think the stress does show up in your skin. Does. And I don't drink enough water, Courtney always tells me. But the lip injections did give hydration.
Some hydration, yeah.
It didn't give you puffy, crazy duck lips. It just, and everyone says, did you get your lips done? They can't really tell, but they can tell that it's smooth. Yeah. And it's maybe a little more filled.
Yeah. So we do lose volume as we age. So it's not that you're always augmenting. I think we had a moment in aesthetics that it got a little extreme and we were always talking about like the sharp jawline. I even remember on socials people would use like the emoji for the sharp jawline. I was like, okay, we're just trying to replace what we're losing. I guess I can speak to that's our personal ethos at Skin Pharm. So I think that, I don't know if that takes away any of the guilt. Like if you're getting your lips done, it's not even that you're augmenting. It's just that you're trying to replace what you had at one point. So even if you're like, this is what I looked like at 20 and I'd really like to get back to there, maybe it's that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do you use filler in your lips? Because you have great lips.
Yeah.
But it's super subtle. So do you do, and forgive me if I'm not using the right terms, do you do like the lip flip or the filler? Or
both. Most recently, when I spoke to getting my Dysport injections, they included the lip flip, which is injecting the muscle that goes around your mouth so that it can't function as hyperactively. So it just relaxed a little bit, which then everts that upper lip just a tiny bit so it makes it look fuller. Right. Which some people will do if they're like kind of trying to dabble and they don't want to do lip filler yet.
Right. That's how I started.
Yeah,
with the flip.
You do have to be a candidate. So if you go in, they'll have you animate and make sure that you're a good candidate for the lip flip. But I love it.
Yes.
And I get that frequently. And then the filler, you don't have to get as frequently. I've been injected over 10 or 11 years now. So I have to be mindful with it and just do a little bit here and there.
I love it. It was super natural. And I think my fear was, if you do the lip flip, it's going to be like these crazy lips. Not at all. Subtle. I love how you all have done it, and I love how yours looks. So that's a beautiful thing. What age do you think to start Botox. Like a lot of girls, my daughter's like, I need Botox. I'm like, you're 21. She goes, it's preventative. So what is the right age? Is it age or is it like I see wrinkles?
I don't have an age in mind at all. And there are friends in their 30s where I'm like, how have you never had Botox done? You are so blessed. And they just don't need it. And they'll ask me if they should get it then. No, like if you don't have the lines and wrinkles, then don't get it done. I do think the minute that you start seeing them though, so the minute you have the lines at rest, that's when you can start getting it done. And that's what I consider preventative. I think there's some talk in the media right now of like anti-preventative, people aren't for it. I'm like, yeah, I think we got a little too aggressive with calling it preventative when you don't even need it.
Yes.
So don't do that.
Okay.
But I think once you start seeing the lines at rest, you're a good candidate. And I think you'd be very pleased with the Botox treatment. And then I also was recently asked, like, is it too late? And it's not either.
I mean, I started, I think, like 49, so 48. Yeah. And I don't feel like it was too late. But I hear that asked, so I'm glad you mentioned that.
I don't think
never
you can
too late.
Put a number on it. I think you really have to. It's how you present. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. It's never too late, ladies. And if they have been using maybe a different product, I mean, would you say, I know of course we love Skin Pharm, if they're like, I need to use this vitamin C, you can mix your, just use like some of the products.
You can absolutely use up your other products until you switch over to Skin Pharm.
Yes. And you will switch over. Because, I mean, I did. And I was committed to a brand, but it just was not, my skin was really dry. And honestly, dry skin, putting makeup on dry skin also just not a good look.
Yeah, it's not a good canvas. Yeah.
No, so it's your canvas. You got to take care of the canvas. And it is just so much better. I cannot even tell you. And I think the confidence, I used to hide from the camera. I used to kind of do like this half face. And I think part of it was I had so many like blemishes from skin, like sunspots and damage, and just tired skin. And now, I used to use a filter. I used a filter in every story. Yeah. And now, no filter, no problem. Like it's really so real. Absolutely amazing. Yeah. I'm such a believer because I experienced the change. Yeah. Like, absolutely unbelievable. You got to. The pads. Let's talk about those really quick. Yeah. Are those just if you're dealing with acne, or is that every day use that to kind of exfoliate?
You can, so you titrate up and down as far as your use. There's people who use them daily. There's people who use them twice a day. There's people who use them twice a week.
Okay.
Amazing for acne because they have the salicylic that goes down in the pore. Gotcha. They're also good for just brightening and anti-aging. Are they also
tightening your pore? Is that what's happening?
So you can't, if I'm speaking clinically, you can't change your pores, actually. You can improve the appearance of them, but you're born with your pores.
Gotcha.
I would get owned if I say that.
Yes, I love that.
However, they absolutely improve the appearance of your pores. When I get a text message complaining about pores, that's the first thing that I recommend to somebody. Okay. And then they work really well on that pigment that you can get after a blemish, that redness that can linger. Yes. It will make that go away so much faster than it would if you were not treating it. So the pads are honestly good for all skin types. And even if you have dull, dry skin and you wonder if you can tolerate them, right? I say go ahead and try because the glycolic will eat away the little dead skin cells.
That has happened with me
pretty quickly. Yes. I mean, it's impressive. I will like go on a trip and not take my pads and then come back and I'll be impressed by my own pads. I'm like, these really work. Yes. Like, it's just, they do. They're amazing. They're really good.
I love them. I mean, I truly love everything. Those are probably my favorite with the serum and the high beam. But the cleanser, I mean, I use all of it every day religiously. I had a question. It was right there about treatments. I just did the BBL, and I had a lot of redness. Would that be? I felt like it made a big difference in the redness. And again, not wanting to wear makeup, I feel like I can do that. Could someone with rosacea do the BBL, and they'd be a good candidate for that?
Great candidate.
It's such a great treatment.
Yes, the BBL is amazing. It's broadband light. So it's actually light therapy rather than a laser, but usually a series of treatments. But you can see improvement with just one.
But with one I did see. Yeah. I've done two now, and it's a little uncomfortable, not gonna lie, but worth it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would you say I would equate it to I've again stood in the mirror and done it to myself, but I'm a little crazier maybe.
Yes.
But probably feels like rubber band snaps.
Yes.
I always say if you have the ability to, like, just schedule it on a day where you're kind of like, you're fine with being a little uncomfortable.
Yes.
Women will try to avoid like certain periods in their cycle to
That's
maybe,
true.
Yes.
I would
So
agree with that.
I would not say that it's like soothing. It's not a spa treatment, but it works.
Right. So before I move on to one of my last questions, which I could sit here literally all
we
day.
not?
We didn't even talk about the eye cream, by the way. Also one of my favorite products. I love the eye cream.
I love it too.
The gold infusion.
Yes.
This is not my last question, but I just got sidetracked with your treatments. Who's a candidate for that?
So the gold infusion,
I love that.
That's your great. I think you asked earlier, like, what's when you're just gonna like pop into a clinic and get a treatment
Mm-hmm.
done. If you can't have a lot of downtime, the gold infusion's great. So I say we do create teeny tiny little punctures in your skin. So you need to leave it clean for the rest of the day, but then you can put makeup on the next day. The
Okay.
gold infusion's great because it plumps your skin. It works on pigment due to the ingredients that we are placing just under the surface of your skin. And then the very controlled injuries that we make then create collagen. So it's just an overall amazing treatment. I would
It
say
really
the
is.
only candidate is if you have like active lesions or active acne that we need to get under control, we would do that first.
Okay.
Otherwise, all skin types and all skin concerns, honestly, it's a beautiful treatment.
It is beautiful. You feel like you're at the spa, but you're getting good
Yeah.
results, and it's just amazing. In this podcast, it's to inspire women mostly. That's kind of our mission here, is inspiring people, whether it's in good health, wellness, family, faith. What inspires you, or who inspires you to create this? Because I always feel like people like us, creatives, entrepreneurs, you're inspired by something. Is it your family? Is it just beautiful skin? Like what inspires
Yeah.
Maegan Griffen?
I mean, it's definitely the people that we're treating. And so I spend a lot of time, I'm spending more time now. There was a period of my career where I didn't get to spend as much time on social media.
Yes.
But
I
I'm
see
back
you started
in it,
your
and
own
it's
account.
fun.
I love
it. And so I love talking to people in direct messages. I don't know why I didn't just say DMs, and I aged myself in the direct
DMs,
messages.
yeah.
But the stories of people being like, because you can, like, I've done it for a long time, and I think you're like, I hope that I'm like making a positive impact.
Yes.
But then you log in and you're like, oh,
wow,
that's amazing.
Yes.
And it can be the skincare worked, nothing worked before. It can be the treatments worked. It can be like, I finally have the confidence to go and date again.
Yes.
Or I really connected with this provider and it felt like therapy. So I think that it's the constant positive impact that we're making thousands of people's lives. That's insane.
Amazing.
But that's absolutely what like keeps my heart in it.
Pretty
It's
amazing
cool.
being part of someone's morning routine and nighttime routine.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I hadn't thought of it that way.
Yes, I love that. I will say, as an entrepreneur, creating something from nothing. I mean, you started with a clinic, then you start with a product. You probably never dreamed or imagined it would become what it's become, and you're still building it. Speak to the woman who's got a dream, and maybe she's like, but this, like skincare. Oh, it's
Yeah.
a huge market. Who's going to want my product? I'm sure you had those
Yeah.
thoughts, or it's overdone, or this or that. But there was a space for it. There's a woman watching, and she's had a dream, and she's thought about maybe it's a product, maybe it's venturing out for a job, maybe it's creating something beautiful.
Yeah.
What's your advice to her?
I would say that you're probably more capable than you think that you are.
Yes.
I also think there's a lot of power. Everyone has a different story as far as like what fueled them, but there's a lot of power in being underestimated.
I love that. Yes.
I saw this.
Please
pillow.
underestimate me.
Yes. I try not to be like very memey in my house, but I did
Yes.
see this pillow that said "underestimate me, that will be fun." And I was like,
I love that.
that.
Yes.
So I think, and then just make sure that there's passion.
That might be the
and
title of
then-
this podcast.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah,
I love that.
Oh, I love it. But yeah, you're probably like, we can all have imposter syndrome, but you're probably more capable. And just like chip away at it. Just put one foot in front of the other.
away at it.
I think you look at people and think that they built things overnight. It didn't happen that way.
Yes.
So
That's a good word.
Go for it.
Go for it. I have a couple little things to end with.
Okay.
A lot of people said, please ask her, do those red light masks work? Are they hype?
I love it. So I have one on my nightstand, and
You
I do
do?
use it, which I think, again, like I don't have a lot of. I know a lot of us in this phase of life, we don't have a lot of time, so we're stingy with like how we
Yes.
spend our time. I use it.
I
There's
love
the
that.
devices that you have to hand hold. I didn't end up using it because I can't sit there and do it. This goes back to like, unless if you can do it consistently, you're not going to see the results. So once I had to do that with the hand holding, I was like, I'm going to give that to a friend. But the mask is easy to use. I've seen some good studies on it. I do think that it works. You do have to do it. I think it's like every day. So that's the biggest thing.
That's
like, if
what
you're
I heard.
choosing, like,
if you don't do it every day,
I'm
just
going to go
don't.
to the clinic and I'm going to get a treatment because I know that it's going to work and I can get that done quarterly. I would not say that they don't work though, and that's also I'm using a certain brand, so you probably want to be picky with which brand. There's a lot.
Can I ask you what brand, or that's probably pushing it? I probably can't.
I don't.
We'll talk in the DMs. I'll find out.
Okay, we'll do it that way.
I don't know.
Yeah,
but I had a lot of people ask that. Like, even
I think there's space for it.
Even
in
my
your
daughter
routine,
asked. She's
and
like,
I think,
should I get that?
If you're the person who's investing in all the other things, I think there's space for it. I would not say like that's where you should start and that's where you're going to see results.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking to Douglas last night and I was doing my skincare routine. I was doing my Skin Pharm. I'm like, I got to have good skin tomorrow. So I was saying, I just wonder if Maegan has anything in her drawer that's not Skin Pharm. Like, what is it?
Body stuff, because we don't
Body
have body
stuff.
yet.
What are you thinking body?
I don't know. I would love to hear from everyone what they think. I think
you should do it all. I love
it's part of
everything you do.
your skin health routine.
Yes.
And I think we could venture into body for sure. But I love doing your like everything shower and then doing the oils and the lotions and the
I love the
balms
oils and lotions. Yeah. I love. I know. One more note, Douglas is just giving me, a lot of people ask about order of application.
Yes.
But really it depends on your skin is kind of what I've heard. Do you have an order of application to leave with because people get confused with skincare. There's so many great things that you provide.
There's some flexibility, and it does differ, obviously, product to product, line to line, and then even what the actual vehicle is. So the vehicle being, is it a serum, a lotion, a cream? A general rule is that you can go thinnest to thickest. And you always want to start your bookend. So you're going to cleanse, clean your face, and then you're going to end, if it's in the morning, you're going to end with SPF. That should be the last thing that you put on. Ideally, we're in spring going into summer. Ideally, if you're outside, you're reapplying a couple times too, or not a couple times, every couple hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to be better. Okay.
And especially like up to the hairline, back to the ears, down the neck.
Yes.
And then... yeah, I feel like, does that kind of give some guidance?
It does.
Okay.
Order of application. Okay, I keep saying last question because I know your clinic probably opens like very soon. Okay. Plastics.
Yes.
So I think I've heard in my DMs, people are like, well, I'm considering a facelift. You know, I don't know. They don't believe in skincare. I'm kind of the girl that's like, I just want to do everything I can so I don't have to have plastic surgery. Do you think they go hand in hand for women of our age? Or are you like, hey, if you you stay current with your treatments, you listen to your consultant of what she's recommending, I know things just drop. Is there a way to avoid it? You know?
Let me think of,
It's probably a mixed bag question, but I do get that DM.
That's a good question. My approach, so I plan on getting a neck lift at some point.
Yes.
I'm like, I guess I know. I also see like the way that women in my family are aging. So
Yes.
I'm like, yeah, I'm eventually gonna have to do it. And I'm still doing all of these things. That's why I shared that, because I'm like, you still want good skin quality.
Yes.
And then I also don't even think, I think like the injectables, you can't replace volume with like cutting and tugging and replacing the skin. You're going to
really
maybe
good
get rid
point.
of some of the sagging here, but it all goes together is my point.
Yes.
But I'm also not anti-plastic surgery. I think it can be beautifully done. I had a blepharoplasty in 2017. That was
I don't even know what that
life-changing.
is.
So,
what is that?
Upper eyelid. And then I'm still doing
natural.
skincare. I'm still doing eye sculpt. So I think it all goes together. It doesn't.
I think that's a really
replace
good
one
point.
another.
Like, just don't cancel it out because I'm just going to get it done.
Yeah, which is
I literally had
potentially
dinner
not
with
what
a
you
girlfriend.
wanted to
and she
hear.
was
I'm
saying
like,
that.
no, you can't avoid it.
Yeah.
But like, yes, do the skincare, and maybe you feel good enough that you don't want to get the surgery if you don't want to.
Yes.
Yeah.
So keep doing your skincare routines. Invest in yourself. I think it is part of wellness. And I feel like you're a wellness company. I just do.
Yes.
Because there's nothing better than confidence. And confidence in your skin and yourself is huge. And it gives you, it gives you peace. And which ultimately leads to great wellness. Drink your water. Do your skincare. Get a treatment, treat yourself. I think women don't treat themselves. I think they put things off. We're paying for college, we're paying for kids, and I don't have time for that, but you will be just the better version of yourself if you take care of yourself.
It's okay to want to feel good.
It's okay to want to feel and give yourself a break that it's okay to want to feel good and look great. That's okay. We don't have to be martyrs here. Have your good skincare.
I love that.
You are a pleasure. I am so glad I finally got to meet you.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thank you for giving us this time and spending the day with us, the morning with us in your beautiful clinic. If you haven't heard of Skin Pharm, check them out. Megan also is on social media. Personally, love the house, by the way. So beautiful. I loved seeing clips of your home and clips of her life. And again, you can follow Skin Pharm as well on their socials. Check out their website. You can find a clinic near you. And she's our friend. She's part of our community. Skin Pharm also available in our stores and online. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anything you want to end with?
No, you did a beautiful job wrapping it up.
What did you say that your pillow said? Again?
Underestimate me, that will be fun.
I love that.
Yes.
Don't underestimate this girl. She's on a mission, a skincare
women
mission.
in general.
Yes, for women. I also love women empowering women. And I think this is one of those moments of talking to a woman who's an entrepreneur who has really created something really beautiful.
Thank you.
Congratulations
so
to you. Kudos. I'm excited to watch you grow.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you for my beautiful skin. All right. Follow along at Chatting with Chaz. We're on Instagram and Spotify, Apple, all the channels for podcasting. And we'll talk to you next week.